The rain hammered the tin roof of the trailer like God's own judgment. Each drop a reminder that mercy had skipped this godforsaken corner of rural Ohio. Isaac knelt in the mud outside the back door. His knuckles split open from the punch he'd thrown at the empty air. Tasting blood and regret as he whispered, "I did it for you. Jamie, don't you dare shine without me." But the screen door creaked open behind him, and his little sister's voice sliced through the storm like a knife. "Isaac? Why is there money in your wallet that smells like cheap cologne and lies?" Isaac wiped the rain from his face, but it mixed with the hot sting of tears he couldn't let fall. "Not here. Not now." With Jamie standing there in her oversized Ohio State hoodie. The one he'd bought her with his first gig payout 2 years back. She was 16, all fire and freckles, her ponytail dripping like she'd been caught in the downpour too. But her eyes, those wide, hazel eyes that mirrored their mother's before the cancer chewed her hollow, locked onto him with a mix of confusion and that sharp intuition kids like her wielded like weapons. "Isaac, what the hell?" Jamie stepped out barefoot, the mud sucking at her heels. "Dad's truck's been broke for weeks, and suddenly there's $300 folded neat as you please in the cookie jar. You win the lottery or something." He forced a laugh, the kind that rattled in his chest like loose gravel. "Nah, kiddo. But odd jobs in town. Mowing lawns, fixing fences. You know me, handy as hell." It was a lie so thin it might as well have been cellophane, but desperation wrapped it tight. Isaac stood, towering over her at 6'2". His frame lean from skipped meals and skipped sleep. He ruffled her wet hair, steering her back inside before the chill could bite deeper. The trailer smelled of canned soup and mildew, their dad's armchair sagging in the corner like a defeated king. Their father was passed out on the couch, a half-empty bottle of Jack dangling from his fingers. Once a line worker at the steel mill in Youngstown. Now he was a ghost haunting welfare checks and VA pills for the PTSD that Vietnam had gifted him. The mill had shuttered 5 years ago, taking the town's pulse with it. Bills piled like autumn leaves on the Formica table, electric overdue, water shut-off notice, and that goddamn scholarship application Jamie had filled out in secret for the performing arts program at Juilliard. New York. A world away from this Rust Belt graveyard. Isaac had found the application crumpled in her backpack last month. Her neat handwriting dreaming big, Jamie Reynolds? Aspiring actress. She'd been rehearsing monologues in the bathroom mirror, her voice carrying through the thin walls like a siren's call. Talent like that didn't belong in a trailer park, it belonged on Broadway, under lights that could blind you with hope. So Isaac did what older brothers do when the world turns cruel. He became the invisible scaffold holding it all up. That night, after tucking Jamie in with promises of pancakes tomorrow, if they could afford the mix, Isaac slipped out to the Silver Dollar, the dive bar on the edge of town where neon buzzed like angry hornets. It was his ritual, the hunt. Men came from Cleveland or Akron, businessmen in rumpled suits nursing divorces and boredom, looking for a pretty face and a willing body in the anonymity of backroom motels. Isaac was 24, with a jaw that could cut glass and eyes that promised more than they delivered. He wasn't proud, but pride was a luxury for folks with full fridges. The bar was thick with smoke and country twang from the jukebox, Garth Brooks crooning about friends in low places. Isaac nursed a Bud Light, scanning the room like a hawk. At the corner booth, a guy in his 30s, salt and pepper hair, button down rolled to the elbows. Corporate type. Probably sales. Eyes met across the haze, and Isaac felt the familiar twist in his gut, half dread, half numb routine. "Hey," the man said when Isaac slid onto the cracked vinyl beside him. Up close, he smelled like aftershave and regret. Name was Tom, or Tim, didn't matter. "You look like you could use a night off." Isaac's smile was practiced, easy as slipping into a role. "Depends on the night you're offering." They talked bullshit for 10 minutes. Weather, Steelers game, before the negotiation. Whispered low, 200 for an hour at the Econo Lodge down the road. Isaac's rate had crept up lately, word spread in these circles. The motel room was a time capsule of faded glory, shag carpet the color of dried blood. A bed that sagged like Ray's spirits. Tom was gentle enough, hands roaming with the entitlement of a man buying forgetfulness. Isaac closed his eyes, picturing Jamie's audition tape instead, the one he'd filmed on his phone last week. Her belting out defying gravity with a voice that could shatter glass. For her. Always for her. Afterward, Tom tossed the cash on the nightstand like loose change. "You're something else, kid. Ever think about getting out of this shithole?" Isaac pocketed the bills, already calculating gas for Dad's truck, audition fees for Jamie, maybe a new pair of dance shoes. Every damn day. But family's got me tethered. He dressed quick, the mirror reflecting a stranger with hollow cheeks and a bruise blooming on his collarbone. Born gay in a town that preached fire and brimstone from pulpits stained with hypocrisy, Isaac had learned early to bury that part of himself deep. High school crushes on the quarterback. Stolen kisses in the bleachers that ended in slurs and shoves. Coming out? Not an option when survival meant blending in. Back home by midnight, he stashed the money in the cookie jar, right next to the faded photo of Mom laughing at a county fair. Sleep came in fits. Dreams tangled with Tom's cologne and Jamie's spotlight dreams. Morning brought oatmeal and forced cheer, Isaac frying eggs with one hand while quizzing Jamie on her lines with the other. "You're gonna kill it?" he said, plating breakfast as Ray grunted awake, oblivious. "Juilliard's beggin' for a girl like you," Jamie beamed, that infectious grin lighting the dim kitchen. "You think?" Good. Isaac. "New York's gonna eat me alive." "But what about you? You ever gonna chase something for yourself?" The question hung like smoke, unanswered. Isaac just shrugged, ruffling her hair again. "I'm the big brother gig. Pays in pizza and pride." Weeks blurred into a rhythm of sacrifice. School for Jamie. Shifts at the auto shop for Isaac, grease under nails to mask the other stains, and nights at the Silver Dollar when the fridge echoed empty. Ray's bad days worsened. He'd stare at the TV static, muttering about nom ghosts, while Isaac balanced checkbooks that bled red. Jamie's acceptance letter arrived like a thunderclap in April. Thick envelopes stamped with promise. Full ride. Contingent on summer intensive. Tuition covered. But living costs? Flights? That's where Isaac's side hustle became the family's unspoken savior. One humid June evening, everything cracked. Isaac had just wrapped a job with a trucker named Hank, rougher than most, leaving bruises that throbbed like accusations when his phone buzzed. "Timmy, where are you? Dad's truck won't start. Need you now." He raced home, the old Ford sputtering on fumes. Ray was slumped over the wheel, engine smoking, Jamie pounding on the hood in tears. He tried driving to the VA alone, said he couldn't wait on you anymore. Isaac's blood ran cold. Ray's eyes were wild, pupils blown from mixing pills with booze. Worthless. All worthless, he slurred, clawing at the air. Your ma's gone, 'cause I couldn't. And you, boy, always running off, Jamie sobbed, clinging to Isaac's arm. Fix it? Please. He's scaring me. Hours later, truck patched with duct tape and prayers, Ray sedated in bed. Isaac sat on the porch steps with Jamie. Fireflies danced in the yard like lost souls. I'm sorry, he whispered, voice raw. I should have been here. She leaned her head on his shoulder, small and trusting. You always are. But that money in the jar? It's not from Lawns. Is it? Isaac's heart seized. Lie or truth? The words clawed up his throat. Jamie. A car horn blared from the road. Headlights cutting the dark. Not a client. A sleek black SUV. Out of place in their gravel drive. The door opened, and out stepped a man Isaac hadn't seen in years, Connor Hale. High school golden boy turned Cleveland lawyer. 6 feet of tailored suit and easy charm. Blonde hair cropped military short. Blue eyes that still haunted Isaac's quiet moments. Isaac Reynolds? Connor called. Voice smooth as bourbon. Holy shit. It's really you. Jamie perked up. Who's that? Trouble, Isaac muttered, standing too quick. But it was too late. The past had rolled up like a storm cloud, ready to drench them all. Connor approached with that stride, confident and unhurried, like he owned the night. Up close, he hadn't changed much, still the quarterback who'd led the team to state. Still the guy whose locker room grin had made Isaac's senior year a torture of unspoken longing. They'd shared one fumbling kiss behind the gym after prom. Stolen and sweet, before Connor panicked and ghosted him for college. But here he was, flashing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Been too long. Saw your dad's truck from the road, thought I'd stop. See if you needed a hand. I'm in town for a case. His gaze flicked to Jamie, softening. And who's this firecracker? Jamie. My sister, Isaac said, voice tight. What are you really doing here? Connor. Timmy. Ever the performer. Extended a hand. Nice to meet you. You a friend of Isaac's? Old teammate, Connor replied, shaking it. Best damn wide receiver we had. Caught every pass like it was his last. Isaac snorted. The memory bitter. That was a lifetime ago. We're good here. Truck's fine. But Connor lingered, eyes tracing the trailer's peeling paint. The junkyard clutter. Looks like life's been interesting. I could use a beer. Silver dollars still open. Jamie glanced between them, sensing the undercurrent. Go on, Isaac. Dad's out cold, and I've got lines to run. Says, you look like you could use a break from being Superman. Isaac wanted to argue, but the exhaustion won. One beer. Then I'm gone. The silver dollar hummed with Friday night energy, pool cues cracking. Laughter sloshing over whiskey glasses. Connor bought the rounds, sliding into the booth like no time had passed. But it had. 10 years of silence, of Isaac building walls from shame and necessity. So, Connor started, peeling the label off his bottle. You still throwing spirals in your sleep? Isaac sipped slow, the beer cold against the heat in his veins. Throwing wrenches now. Auto shop. Keeps the lights on. Connor nodded. Too knowing. Heard about the mill closing. 6. My firm's doing pro bono for laid-off workers. Could hook your dad up. Pity from the prom king. Isaac's jaw tightened. We manage. Silence stretched. Thick as the smoke. Then Connor leaned in. Voice low. That kiss? Senior year. I fucked up? Isaac. Panicked like an idiot. I've thought about it 1,000 times. The words landed like a sucker punch. Isaac's pulse thrummed. Water under the bridge. I'm not that kid anymore. Aren't you? Connor's hand brushed his under the table. Electric. You look at me like you used to. Like I'm the only play that matters. Isaac pulled back. Heart hammering. This wasn't the plan. Clients were transactions. Connor was a what if that could unravel everything. I've got responsibilities. A sister who's got Juilliard calling her name. Can't afford distractions. Connor's eyes darkened. Not with anger, but hunger. Let me help. Dinner tomorrow? My treat. No strings. But there were always strings. But as Isaac drove home through the lightning-veined sky, the cash from Hank burning in his pocket, he wondered if one night off the ledger might not break him completely. The next evening, Connor's text buzzed like a dare. Rossi's? 7 p.m. Wear something that makes you look dangerous. Isaac stared at his closet, threadbare jeans, flannel shirt stiff with grease, and laughed. A hollow sound. Dangerous? He looked in the mirror, tracing the fresh hickey from Hank, hidden under a collar. This was his armor, the body he'd rented out to keep dreams afloat. Rossi's was the closest thing Millfield had to fine dining, a red sauce joint with checkered tablecloths and candles flickering in Chianti bottles. Italian immigrants ran it, old school, where secrets simmered like marinara. Connor waited at a corner booth, tie loosened, sleeves rolled to show forearms roped with gym muscle. He stood when Isaac approached, pulling out the chair with a grin that said, I've got you. You clean up nice, Connor said, eyes raking over Isaac's best button-down, pilfered from a thrift bin. Like that quarterback shadow's still there. Isaac slid in, knees brushing Connor's under the table. Flatteries for lawyers. What's the angle? Hail. No angle. Connor poured wine from the house red, deep as blood. Just redemption. I bolted after that kiss because Dad found my details mag under the bed, faggot rags. He called him. Beat the shit out of me. Said I'd never amount to jack if I was like that. Went to OSU on a full ride. Buried it all. Law school. Firm in Cleveland. Girlfriend for 3 years, Sarah. Broke it off last month when I couldn't fake it anymore. The confession hung. Raw and real. Isaac's fork paused over the veal parm. Steam rising like ghosts. So you're out now? Proud and loud. Connor's laugh was wry. Out to my cat? Mostly. Firm nose, discreetly. But you? You're the one I never forgot. That night behind the gym. Felt like coming home. Isaac's chest tightened. Memories flooding. Connor's mouth hot and tentative. The crunch of gravel under their sneakers. The world narrowing to breath and heartbeat. He'd jerked off to that ghost for years. Even as clients pawed at him in dim rooms. Home's a trailer with a leaky roof and a dad who thinks queers burn in hell. Can't go chasing rainbows? Connor. They ate in charged silence. The clink of silverware, a Morse code for unspoken wants. Connor's foot nudged Isaac's. Deliberate? And heat pooled low in Isaac's belly. Not transaction. After dessert, tiramisu dusted with cocoa like forgotten stars, Connor paid. Hand lingering on Isaac's as he passed the check. My hotel's nearby, Connor murmured. Breath warm against Isaac's ear in the parking lot. One drink. For old times. Isaac knew better. But Jamie was at a sleepover. Ray medicated and snoring. The night stretching empty. One drink. The Hilton in Youngstown was all crisp sheets and city polish. A far cry from Econo Lodge squalor. Connor's suite overlooked the Mahoning River. Lights twinkling like distant promises. Bourbon on ice. And then Connor's hands were on him, slow, reverent, mapping collarbones and hips like sacred ground. You're beautiful, Connor whispered, lips trailing fire down Isaac's neck. No cash on the nightstand, no clock ticking. Just skin and size. Connor's body solid and yielding. A tangle of limbs that felt like salvation. Isaac arched into it, gasping as Connor's mouth found him, worshipful and sure. For the first time in years, it was making love, not enduring. Tangled in 600 thread count sheets, Connor traced the bruises on Isaac's ribs, Hank's parting gift. Who did this? Isaac tensed, pulling away. Rough game of tackle football. Don't worry, liar. Connor's voice sharpened, propping on an elbow. Talk to me. The dam cracked. Words spilled in the dark, the mill's ghost. Ray's decline. Jamie's light. And the rest, the silver dollar hunts, motel trades, the soul he'd bartered piece by piece. She's got Juilliard. Connor. Dance intensive starts in August. Flights. Dorms. Costumes, that's thousands. Dad's checks barely cover meds. So I sell what I've got. It's clean. It's mine to give. Connor's face crumpled. Horror and fury warring. Jesus. Isaac. You're killing yourself. Let me help, Phones. My firm's foundation. Anything. Pity money? Isaac sat up. Sheets pooling like shame. I don't want your charity. I want her to fly without looking back at this cage. It's not pity. It's love. The word dropped like a grenade. Connor cupped Isaac's face. Thumbs brushing tears Isaac hadn't noticed. I love you. Always have. Isaac bolted before dawn, dressing in the bathroom mirror's unforgiving glare. That was for storybooks, not boys from broken homes. He left a note on Connor's phone, thanks for the night. But fairy tales don't pay bills. Summer scorched Ohio like a grudge. Humidity clinging like regret. Isaac threw himself into work, double shifts at the shop, dodging Connor's texts that piled like unanswered prayers. Talk to me. Let me in. Jamie's excitement bubbled over rehearsals. She dragged Isaac to her community theater callback, where she slayed rent seasons of love under makeshift lights. The director pulled her aside after, Kid, you've got it. New York's waiting. Isaac beamed through the pride. But inside, the ledger loomed. Another envelope from Juilliard, housing deposit due. $2,000. The silver dollar called louder. That Friday, the bar thrummed with desperation. Isaac spotted him immediately, a silver fox in his 40s, Armani suit screaming executive escape. Victor. Polished. Precise. With a smile like a shark's. You look like you tell good stories, Victor said, buying the first round. Isaac's stories were currency. They talked mergers and mill towns. Victor's hand on his knee a prelude. Rate, $500 for the night. Premium. The Marriott this time. King bed and minibar stocked. Victor was demanding, positions dictated like boardroom deals. Whispers of harder. Boy, that echoed Isaac's fractures. But the cash was king. Folded crisp in an envelope post-climax. As Victor snored, Isaac showered off the stickiness, steam blurring the glass. His phone lit. Connor. Saw Jamie's post, proud of her. And you? Call me. Guilt gnawed like rust. Slipping out? Isaac drove the backroads. Windows down. Wind whipping tears he blamed on allergies. Home was quiet, Ray at a VA meeting. Jamie practicing pirouettes in the living room. She spotted the envelope peeking from his pocket. Another odd job? Isaac froze. Jamie. Her face fell. Pieces clicking. The late nights. The bruises. Oh God. Isaac. You're a hooker. The word slapped. Ugly and true. He sank to the couch. Head in hands. It's not. I do it for us. For you. Juilliard. Jamie paced. Fury and heartbreak flashing. I'm not some princess you sacrifice for. We're family, we figure it out together. She grabbed her phone. Dialing. I'm telling Dad. No. Isaac lunged. But she held firm. He's gotta know. We all do. Tears streamed her cheeks. And that guy last week? The hot one in the SUV? Connor? He was asking about you at the diner. Said he cares. Why won't you let anyone in? Because love breaks worse than fists. Isaac thought. But Ray's truck rumbled up then. Headlights piercing the dusk like accusations. The confrontation brewed. A storm about to break. Ray stumbled in, reeking of coffee and counselor's platitudes. Jamie spilled it all, halting at first. Then torrent. The money. The miles. Isaac's secret sales. Ray's face purpled. Veins bulging like rivers on a map. Whoring. My boy. Turning tricks like some street rat. Isaac stood tall. Chin lifted. It's kept us afloat. Your pills? Her dreams, someone had to. Ray's fist flew. Connecting with Isaac's jaw in a crack of bone and betrayal. Ungrateful fag. Your mod roll in her grave. Jamie screamed. Pulling Ray back as Isaac tasted copper. Stop. He's saving us. The trailer erupted, yells echoing off walls thin as paper. Ray collapsed into his chair, sobbing like a child. I failed you both. Failed her. Isaac wiped blood from his lip, the scar on his cheek throbbing anew. You didn't. I chose this. But as Jamie bandaged him in the bathroom, her hands shaking, he saw the cost, her shine dimmed by his shadows. I'm going to Connor, she declared. Fierce. He'll help. No more alone. Isaac. He wanted to protest, but exhaustion won. As she slipped out to call, Isaac curled on his bunk, the weight of it all crushing. Born to protect? He'd become the villain in his own tale. And love? It was knocking, but the door was bolted shut. Connor arrived at dawn, tires crunching gravel like bones underfoot. Jamie had texted coordinates. A desperate SOS, family imploding. Needs you. Isaac heard the knock from the kitchen, where he'd brewed coffee strong enough to wake the dead, though Ray still snored off last night's rage. He wiped flour from his hands, pancakes for Jamie, a peace offering, and opened the door to Connor's storm-blue eyes, shadowed with worry. Jesus. Isaac. Connor stepped in uninvited, thumbing the swelling on Isaac's jaw. Huh? Like handling cracked china. Jamie filled me in. On the phone. All of it. Heat flooded Isaac's face, shame. Not fever. She had no right. She loves you. Dumbass. Connor's voice cracked, pulling Isaac into a hug that smelled of leather seats and last night's cologne. Solid. Unyielding. And I do too. Let me in. For once. The dam breached. Isaac sagged against him, sobs muffled in Connor's shoulder. Years of swallowed grief poured out, Mom's chemo smiles, Dad's bottle nights, the first client who paid in fentanyl-laced 20s. I was born this way, okay? Broken in a town that hates it. But Jamie. She's the sun. I dimmed myself so she could burn. Connor held him through it, murmuring nonsense. You're not broken. You're a goddamn hero. When Ray shuffled in, bleary-eyed, Connor didn't flinch. Introduced himself crisp, lawyer, old friend, offering coffee and a steady gaze. Mr. Reynolds. Isaac's told me about the VA. My firm can expedite benefits, get you housing aid. No strings. Ray grunted, eyeing the bruises. Heard what my boy's been doing. Shame on me. Not letting him have options. It's not shame, Connor said. It's survival. And it's ending. Isaac. Pack a bag. You're crashing at my hotel till we sort this. Isaac balked. Can't just. You can. And you will. Jamie appeared then. Ponytail askew. Hugging Connor like a lifeline. He's bossy. But right. Go. The hotel suite became sanctuary. A bubble of luxury amid the chaos. Connor worked remotely. Laptop glowing as he navigated grants. Arts endowments for Jamie. Disability appeals for Ray. Nights blurred into intimacy, lazy mornings with room service eggs. Afternoons tangled in sheets. Connor's laughter chasing Isaac's ghosts. Love unfolded slow. Like a road trip through backroads, stolen kisses in the shower. Whispered confessions over takeout Thai. You're it for me, Connor said one evening. Skyline twinkling beyond the window. Fingers laced. Bodies spent. Marry me? Not now, soon. When the dust settles, Isaac's heart stuttered. Marriage? To the boy who'd broken him? Now mending with every touch? Yeah. Good. Yeah. But dust doesn't settle easy in Ohio. Victor called a week later. Voice silk over static. Missed our appointment. Pretty boy. Owe me 500. Or I tell your little theater town what you do in the dark. Blackmail. The serpent in Eden. Isaac hadn't deleted Victor's number. Stupid. Sloppy, and now it coiled tight. He met him at the Marriott bar. Neutral ground. Cash envelope fat with his auto shop savings. We're square. Lose my number. Victor's smile was venom. Oh. We're not. You're too good to quit cold. And that lawyer Beau? Saw you two at Rossi's. Leverage. Darling. Isaac's fists clenched. Touch him. And I'll bury you. Feisty. Victor leaned in. Breath sour. One more night. Double rate. Or your secrets go viral, expose. Emails to the family. Imagine your sister's face. The threat landed like lead. Isaac drove home in a daze. The envelope lighter than his soul. Ray was improving, therapy sessions sticking. A part-time gig at the hardware store, but Jamie's intensive loomed. Flights booked on Connor's dime. Betrayal tasted like ash, he'd tainted their fresh start. That night, the Connors. Isaac faked fever, curling away when hands sought skin. Tired, he lied. Connor pressed, gentle but insistent. Talk to me. What's eating you? Nothing. The lie festered. Days passed, tension coiling. Jamie noticed, cornering him at rehearsal pickup. You're ghosting Connor. Why? Complicated. But her eyes narrowed. Performer's intuition sharp. Complicated like that envelope you hid last week? I saw it. Isaac. More jobs? He deflated. 1. To pay Victor off. Blackmail. It's done. Jamie's slap stung cheek in pride. Done? You're undoing everything. For what? Some asshole's ego. Connor loves you. You idiot. Fight for it. She stormed off, leaving Isaac adrift. Climax brewed that weekend, Jamie's final callback. A showcase at the community center. The town turned out, Ray in his best flannel. Connor beaming from the front row. Isaac sat rigid. Victor's shadow lurking in the back. Smirking like doom. Jamie took the stage. Spotlights gilding her like an angel. She poured Wickett's I'm Not That Girl into the mic. Voice cracking with raw vulnerability, mirroring Isaac's hidden wars. The room held breath. Applause thundered like redemption. Backstage. Tears and hugs. You're going. G. Juilliard or bust. But as they filed out, Victor cornered Isaac in the alley, reeking of entitlement. Beautiful. Wasn't she? Shame if I whisper to the papers, local star's brother funds dreams with dick. Rage ignited. Isaac shoved him hard against brick. Forearm to throat. You slimy fuck. Take the money and vanish. Or I swear. Hoots from the shadows. Hank the trucker. Victor's buddy. Phone raised. Got it on vid. Quit. Assault? That's jail time. Betrayal doubled. Victor's web spun wider. Isaac's world tilted. Sirens wailing in his mind. He fled to his truck, peeling out as tires screamed. Connor found him at the riverbank, dawn painting the water gold. Isaac spilled it all. Victor? The video. The relapse. I can't drag you into this filth. Run while you can. Connor's face hardened. Not with disgust, but resolve. We're ending this. Together. He called contacts, firm PIs, cyber forensics. By noon, Victor's empire crumbled, tax evasion, prior assaults unearthed. The video? Threats neutralized with legal thunder. But the cost, Jamie's flight delayed. Whispers rippling through town. Ray confronted Isaac that night. Not with fists, but quiet wisdom. Son, I pushed you away, 'cause I saw myself in you, sacrificing till nothing's left. But love? It's the fight worth losing sleep over. Isaac nodded. Throw tight. I know. Trying. The betrayal's echo lingered. But Connor's hand in his grounded it. We rebuild. Brick by brick. August burned hot. Juilliard's intensive a countdown. Jamie boarded the bus to the airport. Duffel slung over shoulder. Hugging Isaac fierce. Shine for me too. Big bro. No more shadows. He promised. Waving till she vanished. Alone with Connor. The future stretched tentative. Lawyer's condo in Cleveland. Weekends at the lake. Rings exchanged in a quiet ceremony by fall. But scars don't fade easy. Isaac woke from nightmares of motels. Connor's arms a bomb. One crisp September eve. Walking the Cuyahoga's banks. Connor knelt, not with a ring, but a key. Move in. Build with me. Isaac pulled him up. Kissing deep under harvest moon. Yeah. Home. Yet the humanistic ache lingered, sacrifice's price. Love's fragile forge. Isaac had sold pieces of himself, but in the mending, he found whole. Fall draped Ohio in amber veils. Leaves crunching underfoot like brittle apologies. Isaac and Connor's life in Cleveland unfolded like a tentative script. Mornings of strong coffee and case files. Evenings of takeout and tangled sheets. The condo overlooked Lake Erie. Waves whispering forgiveness against the shore. Isaac enrolled in night classes at community college, auto tech certification. A step toward steady pay. No shadows attached. Ray visited Sundays, bringing pie from the diner and stories scrubbed of booze. His VA counselor a miracle worker. Proud of you, son, he'd say, clapping Isaac's shoulder. Eyes clear for the first time in years. Jamie thrived in New York. FaceTime calls bursting with chaos, dorm pranks, Broadway auditions, a crush on a stagehand named Mia. Tell Connor hi, she'd tease. And don't screw it up like Romeo. Her shine was incandescent, a beacon pulling Isaac from the dark. But Victor's ghost haunted nights when Isaac bolted upright. Sweatsuit. Convinced the door would knock with accusations. Connor sensed it. Blues. Hey, he'd murmur, drawing Isaac back against his chest. Heartbeat steady as a metronome. You're safe. We're safe. Love deepened in the quiet ways. Connor's hand on Isaac's knee during Steelers games. Lazy Sundays rebuilding a '72 Chevy in the garage, grease smeared and laughing. They married in October. A backyard affair at Ray's, now a modest bungalow funded by grants. Jamie flew in as best woman. Her toast slicing tears, to Isaac, who taught me family isn't blood, it's the ones who bleed for you. Vows exchanged under oak boughs. Rings simple gold bands etched with always the catch. The kiss was fire and promise. Connor's whisper hot, mine. Finally, winter brought snowdrifts and solace. But spring unearthed the final fracture. A letter arrived. Forwarded from Millfield, anonymous. Typed crisp. Knew you'd crawl out. But secrets? They fester. Check the attachment. A USB drive. Innocuous black. Isaac's hands shook inserting it into Connor's laptop. Files bloomed. Photos from old hookups. Timestamps damning, Hank's Motel. Victor's smirks captured candid. And worse, a manifesto. Scrawled digital venom. Born a fag. Died a fraud. Your brother's shine? Bought with blowjobs. Tell the world. Golden boy. Betrayal's blade twisted, not from Victor, jailed for fraud. His web unraveled. But a ghost closer, Jamie's theater buddy? A kid Isaac had turned down years back. Nursing grudge into malice. The leak hit X first, grainy pics. Hashtags like trailer park tragedy. Sibling sacrifice or sin? Millfield murmured. Ray fielded calls from old mill buddies. Pity laced with poison. Connor raged. Lawyering firewalls and cease-and-desists. But the internet was hydra-headed. Isaac retreated. Holing up in the condo. Blinds drawn. I tainted it all, he confessed to Connor one storm-lashed night. Thunder rumbling like judgment. Your career. Her future. Bullshit. Connor knelt before the couch. Eyes fierce. You survived. That's the story. He cupped Isaac's face. Thumbs tracing the scar. And ours? It's just beginning. The climax crested in crisis. Jamie called. Voice shattering. They're saying. Good. Isaac. The tabloids. Juilliard's asking questions, moral character clause. I can't lose this. Isaac's world narrowed to her sobs. Fight it? G. I'll testify, truth serum. All of it. But doubt clawed. His shame. Splashed public. A stain on her star. Connor mobilized. Press conference at the firm. Ray at his side. Gravelly voice booming to cameras. My boy's a hero. Sold his dignity so his sister could dream. Any fool calling that sin ain't worth the spit. Jamie followed. Poised in a blazer. Channeling Elphaba's fire, Isaac didn't just fund my ticket, he taught me resilience. Queerness isn't shame, it's strength. Back off. Or get sued into oblivion. The tide turned. Slow as Ohio thaw. Hashtags shifted. Heroes in the shadows. Love over lies. Supporters flooding in. Glad spotlights. Broadway alums vouching for Jamie. The leaker outed himself in a tearful AMA. Apologizing for stupid hurt turned hate. Victor's old cronies slunk away. Tails tucked. Summer solstice brought healing. Jamie's Juilliard gala. Isaac and Connor in the audience. Ray beaming from the nosebleeds. She dedicated her piece, a pas de deux on sacrifice and rebirth, to the brother who carried me. Tears streamed unchecked. Isaac gripped Connor's hand. Knuckles white. Rooftop party under stars. Champagne fizzing like hope. Jamie pulled Isaac aside. Hugging fierce. You shone too. You know. Still do. To. Genuine. Learned from the best. Ray cornered him next. Eyes misty. Forgive an old man? For the fist. The silence. Already did. The water under the bridge. The night wound down to embers. Isaac and Connor driving home through firefly fields. Silence companionable. Erie's breeze through cracked windows. Humanistic ending? Connor teased. Hand on Isaac's thigh. Or just ours. Isaac smiled. The weight lifting like fog. Ours. Born gay. Yeah, but loved whole. Years folded forward. Jamie on Broadway by 22. Wicked understudy stealing hearts. Ray remarried, a quiet nurse named Ellen. finding peace in potlucks and puzzles. Isaac graduated, opening a garage specializing in vintage restores, hands clean, soul mended. Connor made partner. Pro bono queer youth a flagship cause. Weddings anniversaries marked milestones, first at the lake. Skinny dipping under moon, fifth with adoptions papers for a foster kid named Alex. All wide eyes and wary trust. Like you, Connor whispered, watching Alex chase fireflies. Resilient, Isaac nodded, arm around his husband. Sacrifices scarred. But they gilded too, reminders that love wasn't absence of pain, but alchemy turning it to light. In quiet moments, Isaac traced his scar, Connor's lips following. Watched her shine, he'd say, but found my own. And in America's heartland sprawl, from rust to renewal, they built a legacy not of secrets, but stories of brothers bound by blood and choice, of loves that weathered storms. Human, eternal. The end? Not tragedy, not fairy tale, just life, raw and radiant.